If one major oil route getting disrupted was already dangerous, what happens if a second one gets affected too? Because at that point, this is no longer a situation, it's a system problem. And if that happens, you're not just looking at higher prices, you're looking at a chain reaction that hits everything. So the real question is this still a single point risk, or is the entire global supply system starting to get stressed? That's the shift most people haven't understood yet, because everyone is focused on only one route. But the real risk is what happens when multiple routes come under pressure at the same time. By the end of this video, you will understand why the Red Sea is just as critical as Hormuz route, how multiple disruptions can create a compounding effect, and the point where supply stress turns into a global shock. And once you see that, you will understand why this situation is bigger than it looks. But first, you need to understand how the global supply actually flows. Global oil and trade don't move randomly, they pass through a few key choke points. Two of the most critical ones are Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea or the Suez route. These are not just routes, they are gateways. And when even one of them is under pressure, the system gets strained. If a second route start getting affected, ships need to be rerouted, travel time increases, cost rises sharply, and supply becomes less efficient. But the real problem is not delay, it is uncertainty. Markets can handle the delays, they struggle with unpredictability. Because when routes become uncertain, traders price in the risk, companies increase the margins, supply chains slow down, and that pressure spreads. And there's a point where this pressure stops being manageable. When multiple choke points are under stress at the same time, this is no longer a localized disruption. This becomes a system wide constraint. And that's when prices don't just rise, they become volatile and reactions become aggressive. At that point, it is no longer about if something happens, it's about how fast it spreads. The trigger comes when supply disruptions across routes start affecting the real delivery timelines, because now this isn't expectation, this is impact. And once that happens, everything connected to the supply chain reacts. So if both these routes start getting affected at the same time, it means we are no longer dealing with isolated risk, but something that can disrupt the entire global system. Now, that's the shift from disruption to system stress. And once systems start getting stressed, stability doesn't break slowly, it breaks suddenly.